that continues to brutalize us. And I will never stop saying, not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools.
Welcome back, patriots. Have you ever wondered why the people who have benefited the most from this country, I'm talking about safety, education, and positions in the most powerful offices, often seem to be the ones criticizing it the hardest? It's really puzzling. Today, we're diving into two powerful clips featuring Senator Rand Paul and Senator John Kennedy as they directly address Ilhan Omar and the Squad. They're not holding back, and frankly, it's refreshing to hear someone speak this plainly. Let's jump right in.
A town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who've come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative Omar say, "Oh, America's a terrible place. I'd love there to be justice, and there's no justice here." It's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care, and then lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
There are a lot more important issues in front of the United States Congress and the American people than who tweets what to whom. So let me say it one more time. I thought in the president's original tweet, I thought it was a poor choice of words. I think I know what the president meant, and he clarified later and said, look, if you're not happy in America, leave. Just leave, and I agree with that. But his original articulation of that concept, in my opinion, fell short of the mark. Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with.
All right, wow, there's quite a bit to break down here, so let's begin with Senator Rand Paul because he touches on something that really gets under the skin of everyday Americans, the gratitude gap. Paul makes an incredibly straightforward yet compelling argument. He's talking about refugees, people he personally knows who escaped real oppression, people who got out from behind the Iron Curtain or survived the brutal conflicts in Bosnia. Do you ever hear them bad-mouthing America? Absolutely not. They cherish this country. They understand what life looks like on the other side. Then there's Ilhan Omar. Like Paul mentioned, America didn't just crack the door open for her. We threw it wide open and rolled out the red carpet. We gave her food, clothes, medical care, and schooling. And what did she do in return? She got herself elected to Congress, which is an amazing privilege, and then she turned around and labeled the very nation that rescued her as a horrible place. That's the textbook definition of being ungrateful. Paul isn't telling her to leave just to be cruel. He's saying go see what the alternative really is. His proposal to buy her a plane ticket to Somalia, that's not some kind of threat, it's a wake-up call. If you genuinely believe the United States is some kind of nightmare filled with injustice, try spending a week somewhere with no constitution, no free markets, and constant tribal conflict. You'd probably be back at JFK Airport thanking your lucky stars. Kennedy's truth bombs. Now let's talk about Senator John Kennedy. This man is a national gem, if only for the way he delivers his lines. When you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. That's savage, but can you really say he's off base? Kennedy goes straight for the core of what drives the squad's beliefs. Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, Omar, and Presley. He didn't dance around it. They hate America. And yes, I know the media gets upset when anyone says that out loud, but just listen to what they actually say. They're not simply trying to make improvements. They describe America as if it was morally corrupt from day one, and even worse today. In their view, our systems, our free market economy, our entire history, it's all supposedly rotten. The bottom line, Kennedy has a point when he questions why we're even bothering to respond seriously to this kind of hostility. These aren't folks just trying to patch up a few problems. They're pushing socialism, erasing borders, and supporting policies that would tear down the very prosperity that gave them their platform in the first place. Like Kennedy put it, if he didn't know any better, he'd swear they were secretly working for the GOP because they're torpedoing their own party with this extreme agenda. So here's the final word. America isn't flawless, but it remains the greatest experiment in human freedom the world has ever witnessed. If Ilhan Omar and the squad can't recognize that, if they truly believe this is some awful place drowning in injustice, then these senators have a point. Nobody's forcing you to stick around. You're free to go. But don't expect the rest of us to sit quietly and applaud while you dismantle the country we hold dear. What's your take on this? Is Rand Paul's offer a legitimate reality check, and is Kennedy on the money about the squad's feelings toward America? Do you believe Ilhan Omar has worn out her welcome in this country? Share your thoughts in the comments. And remember to like, subscribe, and keep standing up for what's right.